We're back in the kitchen this week and we're going to make a cheesecake, and there are three main types of cheesecakes you can make. One like the one we're doing today, which is cream and chocolate in it. You can do one using a gelling agent like gelatin, or you can do a baked one, which is an American cheesecake. But we're just going to start off with the simplest one today. So our ingredients are 100 grams of digestive biscuits and 40 grams of butter. We're going to melt that and crush the biscuits, add them into it. We've 175 grams of milk chocolate, and that's a combination of milk and this lovely chocolate orange, so it's going to be a chocolate orange cheesecake. Then we also have 150 ml of cream, which we're going to beat up, and when that's beaten up it gives a lovely airy texture to the cheesecake. We're going to add 20 grams of cocoa to help strengthen the flavour of the chocolate. And then we also have 250 grams of lovely mascarpone cheese, and into that we're going to add in 120 grams of caster sugar. And then in terms of equipment, you need a baking dish to put it into to set. Then you'll need one bowl for the cream and the chocolate and all of that, and you'll need another bowl for the cheese and the caster sugar. So we'll start then by going over to the hob and doing the biscuits and melting the chocolate. So we're going to put on the butter on a very low heat. We're just going to melt that, and we're also going to put the chocolate on to melt. And again, be careful that the water doesn't touch the base of the bowl, and we're just going to put that onto a simmer as well. So while we're waiting for the butter to melt, we're going to bash up the chocolates. Now this, or bash up the biscuits. This is going to be a bit noisy now, but just use a rolling pin. Like that. So you want to make that into a nice fine crumb that you don't see any big chunks of biscuit in it. So then once you've made that into a nice crumb, you can move over, and when the butter is all melted, you just add that in. Okay, so our butter has melted there. So I'm just going to add all the biscuits into that. And you just mix all of that together. And then when this is put into the fridge to cool, it will set, and this will make the base of your cheesecake. Okay, so I think that's done. So then you can put that into your ready lined tin. If you like a more solid base, you can put in more butter, but this works fine. And then you can use something like a potato masher to spread this out and make it nice and flat. Or you could use a cup or a base of any small little ramekin that you might have in your kitchen, or any flat surface at all, just to make that nice and flat and help it to stick together. Okay? So that's our base made. So we're going to leave the chocolate melting, put this in the fridge, and then we're going to move back to make the filling. To start off making the base, we're going to whisk the cream up until it reaches stiff peaks. So you just mix that with an electric whisk, and that's going to take about 2-3 minutes, but just be careful you don't overbeat it or you'll make butter out of it. So I'm going to stop there now. We'll see now that has reached a stage where it's able to hold its own shape. Okay, so we don't want to beat it any further because we still have to add some ingredients to this. So you might have noticed here I've left the chocolate. It's actually sitting in a bowl of cold water there to kind of speed up the cooling of that. But in the meantime, while we're waiting for that to cool, what I'm going to now do is whisk up the mascarpone cheese and the caster sugar. So we'll just add the cheese into the bowl. Okay, and you use the full tub of mascarpone for this. and the caster sugar. And again, you can just use the same whisk. And just start off slowly so this doesn't start flying everywhere. Now you don't want to over mix this, but you just need to get it to a stage that it's nice and creamy, and we hope that some of the sugar will have dissolved in that beating. Okay, so I'm going to remove those. And you can leave those whisks aside for the moment. So we now have our cheese and caster sugar mixed together. So we just need to combine all of these ingredients now. So what we're going to do next is sieve in the cocoa into our beaten cream. Okay, and then we're going to add in the mascarpone cheese and the sugar that we've just beaten. And then we're lightly going to mix all of this together. Now you can use a spoon for that, or you can use one of the whisks, but you can just use it by hand. And this should all start coming together. So you can see it taking on a nice colour. Okay, and don't over mix it at this stage, just be careful you don't over mix it. And now we're going to start adding our slightly cooled chocolate. Okay, that's cool enough now. So you just add that in gradually, so maybe we'll add in a spoon at a time. And again, just gently mix that together. And now you can see it taking on a lovely creamy texture. Now this would be a good dessert coming up to make for Easter. If you've been off chocolate for all of Lent, you can treat yourself now to this lovely chocolate sweet treat. And just continue on until it's all blended together. So the mixture has turned into this beautiful creamy texture. So we're just going to spoon it into our tin, and this is an 8.5 inch or an 8-inch tin. So if you want a flatter cheesecake, you can put it into a wider diameter. Okay, and then all that's left to do now is to smooth off this mixture. Now if you wanted to make a different flavour, as I said, I'm doing chocolate orange, but there's no reason why you couldn't make this a chocolate mint, and instead of using orange chocolate, use mint chocolate. Or you could add in I don't know, any other ingredients, maybe strawberry cheesecake if you wanted to, or you can make your own flavour. But this one works quite well anyhow. I don't think anybody will refuse a slice of chocolate cheesecake. Okay, so get that as smooth as you can, and then all you have to do now is leave that in the oven for, not in the oven, in the fridge for an hour or two until it sets. And then you can take it out, decorate it and serve it up. And I'm sure your guests will absolutely be so thankful for serving up a beautiful cheesecake to them. So we leave that to chill now. This has been chilling overnight, so as you can see it's completely set. So with the removable ring, just click that and your cheesecake should come out quite easily. So you can see that's beautifully set. Now we need to decide how we're going to decorate it. So I'm just going to go with something very simple. Some white chocolate, some fresh cream and some raspberries. So to decorate this, you could make circles and then pull a skewer through and make some feathering on it, but we're just going to keep this very simple. So just using a spoon and some white melted chocolate, you can just go over and back and make a pattern on it. And you can do this over and back to make a trellis on it, But really, I suppose it's just to make a contrasting colour is all we're looking for now. You don't need to have to be awfully delicate with this. Okay. And you can put on as much or as little as you want. And this of course will all solidify as it gets cold, so it'll look quite nice. I don't think you need to add too much to this lovely cheesecake because it's already very rich and tasty. So the last thing then is we're just going to pipe some fresh cream, and just using a nozzle, a nice flower nozzle, you can just pipe some flowers onto it like this. So just putting a little bit of pressure on the bag and on the nozzle, and let the nozzle do the work. Okay, and the last thing then we're going to do is just put a raspberry on each of those. And that is a fairly delicious looking cheesecake, if I may say so. And I think everybody's going to love that treat. So there you go. You have a cheesecake made, a beautiful, delicious dessert. And it's all made from first principles. So again, all you need to do now is serve it up nicely on a nice pretty plate.